want to talk about some day one impact transfers because love it or hate it, the transfer portal, not our partners at the transfer portal CFB, but the actual transfer portal that athletes put their names into, it's here to stay. And it is impacting college football in a way unlike any other. There's a lot of day one impact transfers that are going to make their names known at their new homes very, very quickly. I'll start back at Colorado with the quarterback, wide receiver, Travis Hunter, and quarterback, Shadir Sanders. Kind of a 1-2 punch following Coach Prime from Jackson State to Colorado. It's an athlete like the Buffaloes have not seen in quite some time. Both of these guys are athletes. Travis Hunter in particular, a guy that can play both ways, that I think Coach Prime wants to play both ways. I think he's going to see more time at the defensive backfield than he is at wide receiver, but I think they're going to have some gadget plays for him on offense. It seems like that out of camp is the word out of Boulder. But man, it's the type of athlete that transforms a program, and they're going to start from day one. They're going to hit the ground running. And if Colorado is going to make some noise this year, it's going to be on the backs of these two guys that Coach Prime knows. Obviously, Shadir is his son, and that they can, makes a lot of noise with the type of athlete that they have not had there in quite some time. We've also got wide receiver A.D. Mitchell going from Georgia to Texas. I think that's a huge pickup for the Longhorns. And he's kind of a story, if you're bitter about the transfer portal, right? Like, he is the story that you're trying to find some solace in the transfer portal. A.D. Mitchell's the guy. He is transferring for the right reasons. He's not transferring looking for more playing time. He would have started at Georgia this year. He shows up in a wide receiver room at Texas that desperately needed some more depth last year, especially with the injuries that they suffered. And I think he's going to be a big play guy for the Longhorns. Quinn Ewers needs another reliable target in addition to Xavier Worthy, and he's going to have it in A.D. Mitchell. 7 career touchdown catches in his freshman and sophomore year, played a lot. Didn't get to play a ton last year in his sophomore year due to an injury, but he's back healthy. He's ready to go. Another former Georgia Bulldog that's going to make a big, big impact. We highlighted him as a 3-tech breakout player this year. Former 5-star defensive lineman out of our neck of the woods in Denton, Texas, Bear Alexander. He's going from Georgia to Southern California, USC, and he looks to be the missing piece that could fill the gap on the Trojans defense that they've just been desperately needing. I don't think Lincoln Riley has ever had this talented of a defensive lineman on his roster. Obviously, he can't play every down. He's a big boy. He's pushing, 350 pounds on that defensive line. So he's going to need to rotate out, but he's a run stopper. He's going to fill gaps. He's going to stop the run. He can rush the passer when they need him to. He can slide out and play a little defensive end and be a really, really big mismatch problem for a defensive tackle if they need him to. That is what USC desperately needs. They could not stop the run to save their lives last year. I watched it. Mitch watched it in person at the Cotton Bowl, where Tyjae Spears just crushed their hopes and dreams down the stretch of that Cotton Bowl game. So they need a guy like Bear Alexander. They've got him through the transfer portal. Lincoln Riley making his magic known once again in the transfer portal. Lots of big-time quarterbacks are making moves as well. We've got Devin Leary, who we were really, really excited about at NC State before injuries really hampered his season last year. Almost 7,000 career passing yards. He's going from NC State to Kentucky. Also, offensive coordinator Liam Cohen is back at Kentucky this year. The guy that engineered their great offenses. And when he was ripped out, when he went to the Los Angeles Rams for a season last year, it showed on offense. Will Levis was not the same quarterback. The offense was out of sorts. He's back now to run the offense in Lexington, and he's got a great quarterback. I think maybe even better than Will Levis running the helm. Hudson Card's going from Texas to Purdue. That is a huge wild card in the Big Ten West, no pun intended. 148.1 career passer rating at Texas. He was never the full-time starter, but man, did he look good when he was needed at Texas. Brennan Armstrong is reuniting with his former offensive coordinator, Robert Anae, at NC State. Tanner Mordecai, like I mentioned, is going from SMU to Wisconsin. We've got Peyton Thorne going from Michigan State to Auburn. And DJU, our old friend that we have just not been kind to on this show. I'll say it. We haven't been very kind to him, and his play has not really deserved for us to be very kind to him on this show. He's getting a chance to revitalize his career a little bit closer to home, back closer on the West Coast. He's at Oregon State, and Oregon State all of a sudden has probably the most talented on paper quarterback that they've had in quite some time. So watch out for the Beavers. If he can hold on to that job, that's going to be a really, really interesting offense to watch. I mentioned Colorado completely overhauled their roster. I think personally, Florida State did the most in the transfer portal to me to get excited about. I think they're my personal favorite transfer class. You know, when you're highlighted by guys like Jakeem Bell from South Carolina, the tight end, Keon Coleman from Michigan State, Jeremiah Byers, offensive tackle from UTEP, who's a really, really good prospect, Braden Fisk from Western Michigan, defensive lineman, and maybe their best pickup. I'm really excited about Fintrell Cypress from Virginia, a guy that just is a ball hawk in the defensive backfield, knocks down passes, intercepts passes. Really, really feels the missing piece for Florida State this year in the defensive backfield. They lost some guys. I'm not negating that. They did lose some guys in the transfer portal. That was the one kind of red flag. But man, what they did in the transfer portal to address those needs, I am really, really, really excited about to see Florida State put those guys on the field. And they return a ton of production. So if you're not already in on the Florida State Seminoles, it's about time to buy stock in that program because you're running out of time. Might be too late already.
Gracious, how about